you all for being here, for paying attention to this important topic. Hi, everybody, beautiful people that are here at NOFA. My name is Javier Gonzalez. I am a second the person from the Valley of Oaxaca. This is, I am no binary. I am an immigrant. I've been living in about 10 years, living in a town land. I am. I don't say that I'm a musician, but I am a little tradition of living. I I am also uh, one of the Semilla co. Like I said at the beginning, my name is Elizabeth. I am the Zapopates Mexico. Very happy to be here. I am an immigrant mother of 4 kids. I came to this country because the American dream, I wanted to have a good economic, life. So, uh, unfortunately, I saw many obstacles. Uh, I had to work, I continue education, working restaurants, cleaning bathrooms, kitchen, bad, nothing bad, but I wanted something different. I did it in my country, of course, but I also did different things. I've been I've been working hard work, and I did it to sustain my family and give them a future, especially because I wanted to get out of poverty, but out of the eating, to do something that I like. Right? I, I tell my that when I came here, I lost many things, you know, and we now have to continue fighting to get better. Thank God I was able to meet a beautiful group that I am now a member of, which is the Semilla Colectivo de Semilla. What is it? Colectivo Semilla is is a group of people that we collectively fight for the rights of people, and and that we work for the better of the land. We started in 2019. In the middle in the middle of the pandemic, they started a project which was giving food boxes to help people that with immigration status. You know, this project of helping out with food, my family benefited a lot. We were faced like, well, my working it went down, it finished considerably, and we needed, we didn't have food, gas, and then the savings were taking care of the family. And then a friend of mine did me the favor of registering me for this project, and this was a God blessing for the family. I gave to God for this, because with them as well, they were able to give us some money, help us financially, and with this money, we were able to help our family that were back in our native land. And and there, I learned that there's a country and where you have opportunity. Um, Now, I'm an active member of this collective, and I can tell you now that I can tell you now that I'm a workers owner. I don't like to say it much, but I'm also a workers owner of a project named Tortilleria. Tortilleria. I got a little bit of computer. It's so I could um, and talk to you guys. Computers, it was a close thing for me. I won't take more of your time, but I'll tell you, this is Super Gonzalez. I came here in the 2020 and I joined the food business. Yes, and it's like a tree that has, small different trees, branches. Um, Part of it is, as you could see, is the jarocho, the jarocho songs, that type of music. And this music we you play with the jarana. It's like the jarana is, it looks like a guitar, but like a um tambor too. I am part of the coalition Hosky for immigrantes, immigrants for Hosky. Uh, Participating in this, collecting signs, talking about this, and that's really express the word of colectivo Semilla. And, and then we also went to the capital to the Harod song, to kind of sell legislations, people that legislating over there, that oh, it's not it won't be just for you, but for all of us. How did I get into? Well, I had a labor case where I was working. Um, they were taking they were abusing the workers, and they let me go without a cause. So I I started to obtain information about all that, that you go when they fire you with no cause. Like, so we started
What?
to get
In the
information
window?
about it, and we started making actions and to raise our.
Oh my God, no.
We shouldn't let ourselves be treated like that. We had we started we started exercising our rights, and we met with the owner. I think just May, we want to. What we wanted, we wanted him was to pay the employers a fair amount of money because we work because we need money, not because we want, you know. And then Javier, part of the colectivo Semilla, we have many conversations about how we'll look in a space where we have people that receive the help and people that are given the help. We wanted it to look the same. A space where the where our people, our partners, they're heard. And we started learning about this. We went to other schools in New York, Philadelphia, and we met with them and we improved their knowledge. And this way, we had awesome conversations with these people to see what it is and how can we do this. We also uh, talk about discussions related to how to deal with conflict. How would we do that? How would we deal with that? We we then we went to try to do a product the same process that in Mexico how they do the tortilla, uh, how to do it. So over here it will have the same taste um, as in Mexico. So we also in the club to have to active listening, with to our partners. Uh, and to listen to the other members to their mission to their vision even if the values mission everything is not the one that we want the one that we share and it's not see we learn that we don't have to agree with them but just to kind of see and understand their vision.
From August of last year, conversations that were
So
elongated
last
and
August
constant and things that take time. Some people believe that sets us back some time, but it's not true. It's very important to have these conversations and all those difference where we argue to get to an arrangement. So we've taken a lot of these classes about how to listen, about democratic spaces, about finances, open finances, so that we all know what's going on in the co-op. Even though it's a business, it doesn't work like a business, like a common business at least, thanks to our values. And we'll talk about our values with our friends later. So I will pass it over to Hannah. Thank you. What is La Tortilleria Semilla? I stayed here because I loved it. I love the community. And now I am part of La Tortilleria as a worker. And like I have said, we're still accomplishing a lot of things and fighting every day. We are legally a business, right? But we still having problems with some of the earnings we get, and we have a lot of issues. So my friend said, we were taking a lot of these workshops in our community. These are some of the people from the collective, and they help us They helped us even with this presentation. Fatima helped us a lot practice. They have helped with a story, um, with our life story. Lisa has also helped us with computer classes. Fatima has helped us with a lot of workshops. For every workshop that, for every single thing that we've learning and we're done, we've taken a workshop for. Let me pass it over to Eliza. And like we were talking about the tortilleria, we have values. We made our values, we made our mission and our vision, and it was hard. Like we've said, it's hard to get together and have the same idea. It's very different because we're very different. Even though the three of us are Mexican, we have different cultures and different thoughts, and it was very hard. But thank God we made it, and we have our values. We have 5 values: imagination, honesty, so solidarity, dignity, and our roots. And imagination, the reason is because we imagine another world. It's possible to have another world. And we're working toward our dreams and the new generations to come. Honesty, because we are people that are honest and consistent and trust each other and hope to trust our community. Solidarity, we build our own community collectively and empowering people the way they have empowered us, and dignity, because we want dignity in our job and to respect everybody's different experiences. And the last one that's very important to me is our where we come from, because we have ancestral roots and we want to preserve those within our community. Our mission is to offer tortillas of high quality and consistent with our tradition and our cultures, and having dignity while doing so, and being inspired in solidarity. And our vision is our dream to make this tortilleria that inspires a culture of people working together, and where the food that we make is from our centers, from our ancestors. Sorry. Like you see in our traditions, there's something very important for us is el buen vivir, which is a good living. Our our values, our mission, our vision. So to have a good living, we've talked about this. What is good living for us? So my friend will tell you what good living is to her. It says it right here. The good living is to be harmonious, to have a balance, the opportunity to be able to enjoy and take care of our earth, to be calm and tranquil, and have the best food that our Mother Nature can give us. Care for Mother Nature so that she can care for us. I think we're going to talk about this a lot. Because sometimes I think about the fact that I might have some of these things, but I just don't value them. And there's some that I don't have yet, but it's good to learn and revise. Thank you. Good living for Javier. The way I understand it and feel it, I experimented when I was a child, growing my corn, growing my pumpkins, climbing trees and eating fruit. That's the feeling you get as a child of having so much and being calm and balanced. Because the way I believe in it or understand it, it has a lot to do with your relationship that you have. And I don't mean the relationships that we have with people, but I also have a relationship with the music and the jarana. I also have a relationship with the water, with the earth, with the air, and with the whole cosmos around me. And it's in my case looking for a balance, a peace with each and every one of these relationships that I believe that I can then have a good life. I experimented it when I ate tortillas in Mexico. And when I came here, I lost that relationship with the tortillas and the corn because I stopped eating them for a long time. It was until I arrived here at the Tortilleria that I was able to bring the corn from my country and eat that and taste that native corn from Mexico, that I felt that good living in my stomach. And I mean in a good feeling. It was a good physical feeling and also emotional because this eating this corn made me happy, lifted my spirits and a stability mentally because it also brought me peace of mind, knowing that what I was eating just enough. I wasn't taken from the earth without damaging the earth because of the process that they grow corn are, are respectful ways. And they also ways that take care of Mother Earth. And in growing it that way, I am taking care of my body and my community. So that is my goal to bring the good living here in the United States and in the city of New Haven. So let me pass it over to my friend Anabel. Anna, what is good living for me? It's all around me. It could be a job that I love, to get out of work on time and be with my family, and to know how to love the earth, to have the spiritual feeling. In my house, it's the spiritual feeling I get when I talk to God because from my point of view, you don't have to have problems. And I mean, I don't mean not to have problems, but like, to deal with your trauma. Nobody likes the word trauma, but you have to deal with it. A healing feeling and something that I also feel is now a lot more than before is the feeling of dealing with nature is something that I've always had, but I've never really paid enough attention to, which I am now. And of course, with my friends, and we take care of each other, and we tell each other, drink some water. That's the way life is, and we're united. We try to be kind to each other, and it's not just thinking about me; it's thinking about the animals. I also want to mention that in these workshops that NOFA has had, um, there was a workshop about El Salvador that was beautiful. And with Jad and Luna, we learned a lot about bees, and it was beautiful. Just like the corns, the bees are life. It was beautiful. We also learned about compost yesterday and biodegradables and stuff like that, and that's very important. So I'm gonna pass it over. We are halfway through our presentation, and I think we should take a little bit of time to see if you guys are understanding, if you guys have any questions, any doubts. Do you know what it is? What a co-op about tortillas is? Do you have questions? what is the difference of corn in Mexico than here? I'm going to answer this in Spanish. Most of the corn that is grown in the United States is sweet, and the corn that we grow, it's a native Mexican corn, so it's a species that only exists in those climates and in those territories. Inclusive, if we even try to bring it here, it would be a little different because of the climate. It wouldn't give the same results. So that's why we're exporting the corn from Mexico. Even though we're exploring the idea of people that want to try to grow it here to see if we can grow the Mexican corn here. There's actually an experiment going on in Philadelphia. Our friend Christina Martinez and her husband are trying to bring the corn from Mexico and planted it, and they try to do it, but the earth is different. The earth is really different. So growing it here is different. Not everywhere is going to give the same lands. Even in Mexico, some places like Veracruz, where the land is really hot, gives different taste and different fruits and different types of corn. There's a lot of different corns in Mexico. Also, the cost of organic corn is a huge difference. It's a lot more expensive. So growing organic corn is way more expensive. Is there any other questions? Tuvimos una presentación hace muchos años con NOFA. Y me estaban contando que había una granja en México que estaba teniendo problemas con, con maíz contaminado por because of corn that was mod well, the native corn at that time was mixed and modified. I'm sorry, we are gonna have to go back to the presentation, and we also talk about ancestral seeds. The reason why we say that is because it's made with calm. Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually something we're gonna talk about after. So it is something we're gonna speak of later on in the presentation. Can we continue with our presentation now? Let's talk a little about uh, when we talk about that, we talk about choosing the way you're going to grow and the way you're going to eat and the way the food is processed and brought to your table. This is also the way of knowing and being interested in your food. Who's the person growing it? Who's administering this food? And that way you can elect and choose what protects. This has been something that has been attacked and changed due to colonization, the way we eat our diets, like natives, has been changed and attacked. And with the way things have switched, native seeds have disappeared almost. There's less and less every day. And this fight that we're living in every territory in America, or like people say, or North America. Let me talk about this for a little longer. It is very important for us to speak about how food sovereignty is the only form in the way that community and nutrients and are correct and appropriate and resources are used in a sustainable and just way. And this declaration from ONU are not languages from then. These are languages that a lot of little towns and little places have fought for this, and they are forced now to declare because of the fight that the people have had. And let me pass this over to Annabel. Can I say that in Mexico I knew about food sovereignty because um, we were able to actually grow our own seeds. So we chose what to eat, what to have, and how to cut our fruit and our vegetables fresh. So we also have corn, pumpkins, and beans, which is what we call milpa. So food sovereignty is to choose to cook our own foods, is to have foods and tortillas fresh and ancestral, traditional. Food sovereignty is when I choose what I want to eat. La milpa. These are pictures that I found on the internet. Milpa is, like I said, beans, corn, and pumpkin that are grown together. And growing them together help you not get so many bugs. And also, in the milpa, you can also plant other things, not just those three. I grew with the corn and growing and feeding my corn, bringing it home. And then we've learned about administration, which is something we've learned now. Or we also learn about how to seed, which is water, and maize and corn. This is my grandmother in Mexico. I asked my mother to take these pictures. They went together, walking. So once the corn is dry, they put it in a triangle. You can see a little bit in the first picture so that it can dry. So once it's grown, they cut it, they bring it like this, and manually they bring it like this, walking. Let me let me tell you, when I was practicing this, it was hurting me because I saw my mom there, my grandmother, and I noticed after a while that my grandmother is 80 years old and she's a healthy 80 years old. She can do all this. And it's because she doesn't eat anything from a can or anything else. She eats everything. She said, I after seeing this with pain, I saw it and I said, wow, I wish I could reach 80 and be healthy like this. I'm sorry. I'm nervous and I forgot what I was supposed to say here. The native corn. The native corn is the seeds that have been protected by the families and the towns through generations and generations and generations for a long time. And it's different than the modified one mm, because they haven't been in a lab. They didn't grow in a lab. It's something that we found in nature. It's domestic. And it's a different process than the ones that you see that are changed and modified. And it's to us it's been a part of our diet for thousands and thousands of years, not just in Oaxaca, but Chiapas, Guerrero, and a lot of places in Mexico. There are very little places in Mexico that don't eat corn, but they're not really native. Most native people like eat corn in huge territories in Central America, and it's a big base of our food. We eat it in many different ways, not just tortillas. So we don't just offer corn for tortillas. Like you can see here in this image, we have a big plate, a huge traditional plate in Oaxaca. La playuda is a big tortilla. It's a huge tortilla like this size, and you eat it with a little bit of pork grease that we call cierto, and beans. And we usually make the beans with plantain leaves, and it gives it a different taste than the one you find here. And you do it with love, and you put a little quesillo, which is a traditional Oaxacan cheese, and then avocado and tomatoes, and then you eat it. It's very traditional. Then they have atole, and also here you have a little dessert that's called licuatore that you eat in Oaxaca. It's also based on corn. So corn is a big thing in our diet. It's a huge thing in our whole diet. So my friend's gonna talk to you a little bit more about our corn diet. Yeah, great. I'm talking about diet. So, well, famously elotes, Mexican elote. It's a big tradition in a lot of places, and you eat it with mayonnaise, um, and cheese. I think here we're gonna make everybody hungry. So once it's done and I'm finishing harvesting in my country and with our family, they cut the corn and they make a huge pot and everybody starts eating corn. Everybody's working and eating corn. But we also have other delicious foods. This is made from our tortilla. We made a big breakfast from one of these things. We did it really early. We had a atol, which is also made from corn. And then we make tacos dorados or flautas, as they're called in most stores or restaurants. So who doesn't say that corn is delicious to eat? Okay, Javi, thank you. Why is it so important? Why is native corn so important? Like I was telling you guys before, differently than all the modified corn, it's different. It it's something that is resistant. It doesn't get plagued. It's culturally very important for us. It's culturally extremely important to us. It's present in our diet, not only in our diet, but also in our cosmos, in our history, in the way we understand the world. In the time of it, we got con- there's a huge legend that talks about the time we got conquered. We talk about a big snake that came to Earth and came into a cave to see Tioncintre, which was corn, and this was natural native corn. He came and grabbed the Tioncintre, which is corn, and brought it to the people so that the people could grow it in their own and make it to eat. So it's something that is memorable in our history. For me, like a Zapotecan person, it's something that is big in my cosmos. Showing you in the screen is a representation of the Cosigo, which is our fraternity. And he is about corn, and he also works with growing and abundance. Some people believe that he is feminine, even though there's representations of him as a male. So we believe that he is a something that is more over something binary, so some kind of God maybe. And this is like the way we grow. So before we grow, we have these huge ceremonies and offer things that we put in the earth to bless the time of growing. And during the time of growth, we also do ceremonies as a symbol of abundance. Like you can see in this image and a lot of the representations, they always put corn and the table where he is to show the importance of corn. So now let me share the word with Anna so she can talk a little bit about what is threatening our native corn. Thank you.
I can tell you that I don't want to eat alter corn. There are many big enterprises and businesses that they want to alter the corn, and they all that damages the land, and it also damages our health. Some of the examples are autism, Alzheimer's. So our vision is to incubate other co-ops so they can follow our thinking. So I don't know, like co-ops of arts exportations. I don't know. And this is a beautiful dream that we have in our co-op. And every day we work hard to make sure that our product is fresh. um I also want to we also want to work on go back to our roots, our farmers root. We our dream is to be able to be able to buen vivir, to accomplish this. Nowadays, I know that even though there's a lot of damages to our native corn, at the same time, our native corn is very resistant. It's very resistant. Uh, one of the things that we are working against is that the altered um, corn is it may look more appealing, it may look a little bit more um, tasteful to you, but at the end of the day, it is not. It will be more appealing um, in the taste, but it's not at the end. With we have been prosecuted even to the point that farmers that have used their own seeds at one point were put in jails because legislations were forbidding them to use their own seeds. Uh, we we have fights in places where there is fights to protect the corn, like in Colombia, Mexico. There has been a big resistance to protect the traditional corn and our seeds, and the legislation is fighting us because they want something that is faster, again, alter. Many people in the south of Mexico, in Chiapas, there was a group of people that fought against um, this legislation and practice that were um, making us being afraid, and they fought it, and they are now able to have autonomy and able to take care of their own corn. Uh, there is there is a movement in Mexico to make it illegal, to make it illegal the use of al- to alter corn. um it is a movement. It hasn't been done, and this is coming, this practice is coming from the United States, the legislations from the United States. um this movement is trying to sue the United States, to make this practice illegal. I am a clear example of the transgenic seeds, transgenic corn seeds. I am an example because when they came to our farms, we empower. We it couldn't continue being seeded. Ah, and that couldn't be continue working. And I left my farm and my land not because I didn't love it, but just because I couldn't cultivate it any longer. And there were thousands of farmers that left their land because they had to come work here because the corn forced us to do this. We need to we need to remember the value that the native corn has, the traditional corn has. Now I pass it to my co-op worker for a reflection. Then then why then why do we do this? Yes, we go to the stores and we try to obtain good products. We try to obtain the organic because it's better, but it's expensive. I I always wanted to be able to do the farming myself, to be able to seed it, to plant it, but it's difficult here. It's hard. So I'm glad that I was able to give this opportunity to do this, and I hope that we all start thinking about these things, and we work on the things that we need. And we have finished. We have come to the end of this presentation, and and we have a few more minutes of questions. How do I answer this? I personally think that you need to know who are you growing your corn for. The organization Tamor is the one that we obtain our corn, and they contact agriculture families in the south of Mexico, and they bring us the corn from whatever is left, right? And then the corn that these families, the leftovers corn that the families have, is what they bring to us. It's so we use it not from an industrialized um, form, but more of a recycling. Of course, when you are eating this corn, you understand, when you're doing this, you understand the consequences, the history that this is bringing to you. Over here, the pesticide, the the pesticide. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the massive, the massive pesticide. I don't I don't understand, because I know that the organic term has some discussion. I know that the organic terms is trying to make everything free of pesticides. So I know that many people that are farming corn are trying to make it free of that. I wouldn't be surprised if when they they do the corn, they use some sort of, when they use some sort of pesticide. Um, I I can tell you that ours is free of pesticides, and in our crop, we also make sure that the process of obtaining our seeds is also free of any contamination. In our part, the organization that we work with, they make sure that the farmers, the cultivation of the corn is made in a good way. It's not that we're saying, oh, this is Mexican corn. No, this is farmer by our people. I tell you that the collective, for me, colectivo, Semilla, or the co-op, is like a second family to me. I I think that the collective, we have focused on fights for our rights, and to have this buen vivir, this good living for everybody, is something that I would like in the future to let my kids know that they can, that yes, that is not that they have a choice. It's not that they cannot work in a collective. That we can work all together united for the same objective. And in terms of the other question asked, yes, we do have an entity. We have an LLC. Uh, uh, Maybe one more question that you really need to get it out. No? Very fast. We have a GoFundMe because we are initiating our project, and we need you to support us. We 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 have to buy many things, buy our corn, and we need to obtain permits and things like that. So it's difficult, to obtain the things that we need. So if you would be so kind, anything that you give us will be good. Every donation that you give us is like a hug that you're giving us. Also, very fast. We have a table outside, and we have our product. It's very fresh. It's is $15. We're gonna have a table outside. You know, any of you, if you decide to that you wanna try, you can make tortillas. Thank you all for being here with us and for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cooperativa Semilla, for share your story.